get
This
into
is that car that I built for my wife. We've owned this car for 35 years. But this is an original car here. But it has a brand new small block in it. Those are called Greyhounds.
I know, but was that original to
That
this
is
car?
original.
Okay.
But it's an accessory.
Okay.
Every time I go somewhere, people say, look at that Jaguar.
No,
It's not a Jaguar. It's
Well, I
called...
saw your Greyhound in there, but that looks like the Greyhound bus.
Right.
Okay. Well,
What the deal is there, just so you'll know, in 1932, Henry came out with a V8 flathead Ford.
okay.
That was 1932. And he made a statement that his cars run like a Greyhound. He even has a letter from Clyde Barrow, however you want to announce it, you know, Bonnie and Clyde. And he's thanking Mr. Ford. He said, I really enjoy your V8 Ford because I can beat everybody out of town. You
That's
know?
hilarious.
That was his calling card. The thing was that all the cops had these big Dodges and stuff that were lead anchors, you know. So here the Clyde is.
And his is
Bonnie and Clyde, they got this V8 Ford.
His is rocking and rolling.
Oh, they can be out of town and counting their money before the cops ever get their suits on, you know.
Now this is a little unique. You don't see a lot of Ford badges that are red either.
Well, the reason that's a European. If it was a car that went to England, it had a red badge. They have 4 different colors. They have a white one, they have a black one, and they have a red one. They all have significance. When I was building the car, my son taught me when we was building the chassis, going and getting the rear end powder coated. And I said, it's too premature. We're going to get it scratched up, putting the car together. Well, sure enough, I scratched the rear end, the big housing. So the reason I have those is I had an artist friend of mine. I didn't want to get the rear end powder coated, so I called an artist friend of mine, and he come over and painted Mr. Horsepower. If you look under there, you'll see. I sent her a picture. She says, why'd you paint Angry Bird on the rear of my car? I said, that's not Angry Bird. I said, that's Mr. Horsepower.
That's funny.
So we had to get them horsepower floor mats to go with.
I got you.
Now I have my own Ford.
Oh, that's
stamp.
hand stitched. Oh my gosh.
I stamped that Ford because that's left over from my brass radiator days. So I made that little battery box and put Ford on it. But my wife, when I got the car done, obviously the title's in my name. So she said, well, I steal your car because the title's in your name. So I had my upholsterer then brought her name in there, Ferns 32.
That's funny. I thought this was a pattern, but no, you actually went and found this fender.
We have to find those.
So that's probably tough.
At flea market.
Yeah.
The rest of it we can make, but the fenders are pretty complicated. But these are all just patterns.
So basically, like you put this down and cut a piece of metal out.
Then we start forming it.
Yeah.
Either bending it or stamping it in the press.
So this is like where they all essentially start from, it looks like.
Like I say, in the beginning, obviously we have to spend thousands of hours getting dimensions, making patterns, and the way we build something, especially if it's going to be a concept car, is when we get metal in, like 10-foot sheets, it comes with a piece of 10-foot by 4-foot cardboard underneath to protect it. So we save them big sheets of cardboard.
Yeah.
And what we do when we want to build a special car is we lay that all out, one-to-one scale. We draw the whole car out, the body, on that piece of cardboard, full scale, and then we get it like we want it because it's easy to erase a line instead of cutting and welding.
Sure.
So we get them exactly like we want them, proportioned like we want them, and then we start making these patterns, and all we got to do is go back to that big drawing we've made, and we can get a dimension, you know? That car back there, that convertible that's half painted, I got the side profile of that. This is just where we throw everything. This thing got kind of rained on, but this is that car that's in the back. This is how it started life.
Oh, wow. So that's literally, like you said, this is like if you took this back there, this is the side of the car we saw. So back there, we saw the car that was half painted. This is the drawing of that car. So if you put this up side by side, it's going to be the same car. So you literally sit down and spec out the car, draw it by hand.
Where it's visually appealing.
And then you could say, okay, that's what we like. Good angles, good lines, and you get to see this turn into what we have back there.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to draw it there instead of cutting a bunch of metal.
Very cool.